He ran Chicago with money, fear, and bullets, but in the end, Al Capone was taken down by an accountant. That's right. On October 17, 1931, one of America's most feared gangsters, Scarface Al Capone, was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison for tax evasion. Not murder. Not bootlegging. Taxes. Capone had ruled Chicago through the 1920s, pulling in tens of millions from illegal liquor, gambling, and prostitution. The city was his playground, the police his pawns. But while he flaunted his wealth, the federal government was quietly watching and keeping track of every dollar he didn't report. In 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre shocked the nation. 7 rival gang members gunned down in cold blood, allegedly on Capone's orders. Public outrage grew, and federal agents zeroed in. But Capone was smart. He made sure witnesses disappeared and records were destroyed. Still, one man refused to give up: Eliot Ness, the young Prohibition agent leading a fearless team called the Untouchables. Ness and his crew couldn't pin the murders on Capone, but another team in the Treasury Department had a plan. They followed the money. Hidden ledgers, coded books, and testimony from insiders painted a picture the government couldn't ignore. Capone wasn't paying taxes on millions in illegal income. On October 17, 1931, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Judge James H. Wilkerson handed down the verdict: guilty on 5 counts of tax evasion. Capone's smirk faded. He was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, fined $50,000, and charged with court costs. His reign as Chicago's kingpin was over. He started his sentence in Atlanta, but his influence made prison life easy at first. Guards were bribed, privileges flowed, and Capone still acted like a boss. That ended in 1934, when he was transferred to the newly opened Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, The Rock. There, isolation broke him. Cut off from his empire, his mind and health declined, worsened by untreated syphilis. By the time Capone was released in 1939, he was a shadow of the man who once ruled Chicago. He spent his final years in Florida, mentally broken, and died in 1947 at age 48. It's wild to think. The man who controlled an empire of violence and vice fell not to bullets or betrayal, but to an accountant's pen. Follow, like, and share for more interesting tidbits and stories from history.